Okay, so we've officially reached that magical point in the year where there isn't a whole lot of new music to talk about, and critics like myself have begun compiling their best albums of the year list. By sheer coincidence, the Grammy Awards decided to drop their list of nominees for next year's ceremony. So fuck it, let's kill some time, let's bitch and moan about the goddamn Grammys. I mean, why the fuck not, am I right? If you had anything better to do, you probably wouldn't be watching this video. So let's go milk this fucking cash cow. Talk about the nominees for the Grammy Awards 2022. Booyah. Let's do this. I don't hate the Grammys the way that a lot of other people do, especially my fellow metalheads, but I don't think there's any arguing that it's a pretty irrelevant fucking ceremony and that the awards don't really mean anything. In fact, the entire Grammy institution kind of occupies a space not too dissimilar from that of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Like watching any band, any producer, any songwriter, any singer, be it one you like or dislike, win a Grammy is literally the equivalent to arugula on a pizza. It's fine, I don't hate it, but it's completely unnecessary and it's not at all going to change how I feel about the actual product we're talking about. But as a human being, I can't help but be genuinely fascinated by the spectacle, the melodrama, the controversy that constantly erupts and emanates out of the Grammy Awards year after year without fucking fail. Much like, well, the Rock and Roll Hall of fucking Fame. So what we're going to do today is go through all the major categories, including the rock and metal ones for all my regular subscribers, and we're going to react in real time to some of these bizarre and fascinating choices made by the Grammy Awards. Because, you know, yeah, okay, let's officially go for realsies this time. First up in the general field, we have Record of the Year, one of the biggest awards they give out. The nominees are I Still Have Faith in You from ABBA, Freedom, Jon Batiste, I Get a Kick Out of You, Tony Bennett and Lady Gaga, Peaches, Justin Bieber featuring Daniel Caesar and Givon, Right on Time, Brandi Carlile, Kiss Me More, Doja Cat featuring SZA, Happier Than Ever, Billie Eilish, Montero, Call Me By Your Name, Lil Nas X, Driver's License, Olivia Rodrigo, and Leave the Door Open from Silk Sonic. A lot of very predictable choices here, but not undeserving. These were all, well, most of them at least, were big hits from the past year. Montero, Kiss Me More, Happier Than Ever. I think it's safe to say it's going to go to one of them, because those were like the biggest hits of the year. Though in my opinion, the best song on this list is Leave the Door Open, so personally that's who I'm going to be rooting for. Although I won't really be upset with any of these choices. In fact, deep down, I would love to see this go to ABBA. I don't even really like ABBA, but they're a hard-working band. The new album, despite my distaste for ABBA, honestly isn't that bad. Plus, memes. I've no doubt that this would just spawn memes forever. Next up in the general field, we have Album of the Year. The nominees are We Are from Jon Batiste, Love for Sale, Tony Bennett and Lady Gaga, Justice from Justin Bieber, Planet Her from Doja Cat, Happier Than Ever, Billie Eilish, Back of My Mind from Her, Montero, Lil Nas X, Sour, Olivia Rodrigo, Evermore from Taylor Swift, and Donda from Kanye West. I did not at all expect to see that here. Holy shit. I'm honestly genuinely shocked that the Grammy Awards would even consider patronizing Kanye West at this point in time. I mean, he's just consistently been an incredibly troublesome and provocative character for them. Though to be fair, I guess it's hard to ignore the hype, the anticipation, the insanity and confusion that surrounded Donda and that surrounds Kanye West every fucking moment of his life now. I mean, the dude ran for fucking president last year and had his full name legally changed to Ye. How can you ignore the never-ending meme buffet that is this fucking man? And I think the Grammys have kind of fucked themselves over on this because I don't think it'll matter if he wins or loses. No matter what happens, his fan base is going to lose their fucking mind and so is Kanye. As far as who's actually going to win, I feel like all of these are safe choices. These are all big albums from big artists. I feel like it could really go to anyone. I think personally I would like to see it go to Montero from Lil Nas X just because I know that would infuriate so many people. But I don't really have much of an opinion on any of these albums and the actual music contained within them, so I don't really care who actually wins. I've no personal stake in this particular category. Next, we have Song of the Year. We have Bad Habits, an Ed Sheeran cut. Beautiful Noise, Alicia Keys and Brandi Carlile. Driver's License, Olivia Rodrigo. Fight for You, Her. Happier Than Ever, Billie Eilish. Kiss Me More, Doja Cat, SZA. Leave the Door Open, Silk Sonic. Call Me By Your Name, Lil Nas X. Peaches, Justin Bieber. Right on Time, Brandi Carlile. It's pretty much just the Record of the Year category all over again, except now there's an Ed Sheeran cut. I can't stand Ed Sheeran at all, so I hope he loses. I don't even care who wins. I just hope he loses. Next up, we have Best New Artist. The nominees are Arouge Aftab, Jimmy Allen, Baby Keem, Phineas, Glass Animals, Japanese Breakfast, The Kid Laroi, Arlo Parks, Olivia Rodrigo, and Saweetie. The winner will probably be Olivia Rodrigo, but I would prefer that it were Japanese Breakfast, because that new album, Jubilee, fucking slaps. One of my favorite non-metal albums of the year. It's hard to call her a new artist, because this is her third album, but regardless, it'd be cool to see her win. There's a bunch of pop, vocal, solo, performance, duo awards. I don't really care about that. Let's skip forward to Best Pop Vocal Album. Justice from Justin Bieber, Planet Her, Doja Cat, Happier Than Ever, Billie Eilish. Positions, Ariana Grande, Sour, Olivia Rodrigo. I'm going Ariana Grande on this. Positions is a great album. It's got a lot of great fucking songs on it. Plus, the award is called Best Pop Vocal Album, and she's just straight up a better pop vocalist than anyone else on here. Period. I'm not even going to argue otherwise. Say what you will about her music. That bitch can fucking sing. Let's actually go ahead and skip to the rock category now. The nominees are Shot in the Dark from AC/DC, Know You Better, Live from Capitol Studio A from Black Pumas, Nothing Compares to You, Chris Cornell, Ohms from Deftones, and Making a Fire from Foo Fighters. I'm not big on any of these nominees. I don't know, it's just so, obvious. These are all artists that have been around for a long time, except Black Pumas, but that's like a live recording, so it just feels lazy, feels cheap. I don't know, give it to Chris Cornell or Foo Fighters. I don't really care. This is not a very exciting category. I'm not really pumped about any of these songs. I'm hoping that the rest of the rock categories aren't this fucking dismal. Next up, Best Metal Performance. I imagine this is the one most of y'all will be interested in, considering this channel is called The Metal Meltdown. The nominees are Genesis from Deftones, The Alien from Dream Theater, Amazonia from Gojira, Pushing the Tides from Mastodon, and The Triumph of King Freak from Rob Zombie. Okay. Yeah, this whole category is kind of a mixed bag, but honestly, what's most concerning is that, unlike the last few years, there's no young blood here whatsoever. For a few years now, the Grammys have done a pretty good job at nominating younger bands like Deaf Heaven, Code Orange, and Poppy, and even bringing in some more unexpected choices by nominating tracks from Death Angel and Candlemass and High on Fire, the latter of whom actually did win a Grammy a few years back, people seem to forget. And that was pretty cool, you know? I mean, it was cool to see some underappreciated bands and some younger bands get some time in the spotlight, but Mastodon, Deftones, Dream Theater, Gojira, Rob Zombie, these are all big bands that have been playing music for 20 to 30 years. It kind of feels like somebody asked Google what the hottest new metal songs of 2021 were, and this is what came up. I guess I would personally want to give it to either Gojira or Mastodon, because they're objectively the best songs in this category, but I don't know, I wouldn't cry if Deftones won it, or if Rob Zombie won it. Okay, I might cry if Dream Theater wins, because fuck Dream Theater, that new album fucking sucked. It was boring as fucking shit. I don't care what anyone fucking says. Next up, Best Rock Song. We've got all my favorite songs from Weezer, The Bandit from Kings of Leon, Distance from Mammoth WVH. I think that's the Wolfgang Van Halen solo project. Find My Way, Paul McCartney, and Waiting on a War from Foo Fighters. Whatever. I feel like this will probably go to Foo Fighters because they're a fave down at Grammy HQ, but honestly, I'd be fine seeing it go to Weezer. All My Favorite Songs was a legit, really catchy song. The entire OK Human album is way better than it has the fucking right to be, so I wouldn't object to seeing Weezer get this award. And Best Rock Album, the nominees are Power Up from AC/DC, Capital Cuts Live from Studio A, Black Pumas, No One Sings Like You Anymore, Volume 1, Chris Cornell, Medicine at Midnight, Foo Fighters, McCartney 3 from Paul McCartney. Wow, what a totally boring, safe, inoffensive fucking list. Wow. We got a live album, a compilation, and 3 super generic rock records from bands that are older than fucking time. Genuinely shocked that Weezer are not nominated for OK Human or even for Van Weezer. I figured those would be just easy picks for the Grammys. I'm even more shocked that Greta Van Fleet didn't pick up any nominations for their new album, The Battle at Garden's Gate, especially when, they managed to pick up quite a few nominations for some previous songs and records. If I'm not mistaken, they actually won Best Rock Album for an EP they put out a few years back. Probably going to go to Foo Fighters anyway because the Grammys fucking love Foo Fighters. But nonetheless, this is disappointing, man. This is one of the most underwhelming rock categories I've ever seen at the Grammys. This is just bad all around. It physically pains me to say this, but it's getting harder and harder not to agree with Gene Simmons at this fucking point when he says rock is dead. It sure as hell fucking feels dead after listing off all these nominees. What a completely dismal, underwhelming, forgettable, and predictable fucking selection of tunes. Just what a fucking waste. Next up, we have Best Alternative Music Album. The nominees are Shore from Fleet Foxes, If I Can't Have Love, I Want Power from Halsey, Jubilee from Japanese Breakfast, Collapsed in Sunbeams from Arlo Parks, Daddy's Home from St. Vincent. Now, this is a lot more interesting. All of these albums are really, really, really fucking good. That Halsey record in particular was way fucking better than it had the right to be. Japanese Breakfast is probably the most unlikely to win in this category because, St. Vincent, Halsey, Fleet Foxes, they're all pretty big names within the realms of alternative and popular music, but nonetheless, she is still my favorite to win this. Like, Jubilee is a great fucking record, and I'd love to see her go home with this award, but I wouldn't argue with any of these choices. This is actually a really good fucking category. Moving on to Best Progressive R&B Album, which, if I'm not mistaken, was previously titled Best Urban Contemporary Album until Tyler, the Creator, created a bit of a hoopla about it. The nominees are New Light, Eric Bellinger, I don't really know, Something to Say, Corey Henry, Mood Valiant, Hiatus Coyote, Table for Two, Lucky Day, Dinner Party Dessert, Terrence Martin, Robert Glasper, Ninth Wonder, and Kamasi Washington, Studying Abroad Extended Stay from Masego. I'm actually not as familiar with some of these albums as I'd like to be. The only one of these I've actually listened to is the Kamasi Washington record. So I'm going to go with that, personally. So yeah. I mean, it's Kamasi Washington. He's a badass. How could you not want to give it to him just right off the bat? Next up, Best R&B Album. Not really sure what the exact distinction between progressive R&B and just R&B is. I don't fucking know. But the nominees are Temporary Highs in the Violet Skies, Snow Allegra, We Are, John Batiste, Gold Digger Sound, Leon Bridges, Back of My Mind, Her, Hugh Tales from Jasmine Sullivan. I'd be fine seeing it go to any of these guys. I love Leon Bridges. He's a great singer. I really loved his debut. His other records have not impressed me as much, but he has evolved a lot as an artist, as a songwriter, as a performer, so I'd love to see it go to him. Back of My Mind from Her was solid. John Batiste, a lot of nominees across the board this year. He's probably most likely to win in this category, and I'd be fine with that. Great artist, great album. Next up, we're moving on to the rap category. I haven't been paying attention to, the solo performance awards and shit like that, but I kind of can't in this particular instance because the best rap performance nominees and the best group rap performance nominees are often the most controversial songs of the year, and I love to stoke controversy, so fuck it, let's talk about them. The nominees for Best Rap Performance are Family Ties, Baby Keem featuring Kendrick Lamar, better known as Top of the Morning, Top of the Morning. Up from Cardi B, My Life, J. Cole featuring 21 Savage and Moray, Way Too Sexy, Drake featuring Future and Young Thug, and Thought Shit from Megan Thee Stallion. I would love to see this go to Cardi B because I know that it would infuriate every fucking boomer on the fucking planet, and that alone makes me very happy. I'd also love to see this go to Megan Thee Stallion or Baby Keem and Kendrick Lamar for the sake of, memes. Honestly, just give it to anyone except Way Too Sexy because that is objectively the worst fucking song I heard all year. And I listened to a lot of shit music this year. So yeah. Bold statement coming from me. Let's actually move on to Best Rap Album. The nominees are The Off-Season from J. Cole, Certified Lover Boy from Drake, King's Disease 2 from Nas, Call Me If You Get Lost from Tyler, the Creator, and Donda from Kanye West. There's a lot of good meme potential here. I'm honestly not even a huge fan of the new Tyler, the Creator album, but it is objectively the best one in this entire category, so I would give it to him. But seeing any of these albums win would be pretty great, once again, just for the sake of memes. Seeing Donda in particular win would be nothing short of remarkable. If Donda doesn't win Album of the Year, it has to at least win this. Otherwise, we could literally have, hip-hop's equivalent to January fucking 6 happening on the Grammy stage. Next up, we're moving on to country. Yeehaw! With the nominees for Best Country Album, Skeletons from Brothers Osborne, Remember Her Name from Mickey Guyton, The Marfa Tapes from Miranda Lambert, The Ballad of Dude and Juanita from Sturgill Simpson, and Starting Over from Chris Stapleton. I feel like Chris Stapleton's kind of a one-trick pony at this point. He just kind of writes the same types of songs, and they're all very moody and evocative and very cookie-cutter. I don't hate him, he's got a great fucking voice, but I'm kind of tired of him. In my opinion, the best album in this list is Ballad of Dude and Juanita from Sturgill Simpson, so that's who I would want to see. But it will probably go to Chris Stapleton, if not her, Miranda Lambert. I don't think Sturgill Simpson stands a fucking chance here, which is a shame, because again, it's the best album in this entire category. That kinda does it for all the major categories, but I've been tipped off that perhaps I need to pay attention to the music for visual media category, so we're gonna skip down there. Here we are. Best Compilation Soundtrack for Visual Media. The nominees are Cruella, Dear Evan Hansen, In the Heights, One Night in Miami, Hell Yes, Respect, Shmegadoon, Episode 1, whatever the fuck that is, and the United States versus Billie Holiday. I would give this to One Night in Miami because I love that movie. I love that soundtrack. In the Heights, I'd be fine with that as well. Fuck Dear Evan Hansen. The rest I don't care about. Best Score Soundtrack for Visual Media, Bridgerton, Dune, The Mandalorian Season 2, The Queen's Gambit, and Soul. I'd love to see it go to Soul because it's just really kind of cool to see Trent Reznor nab a fucking Grammy. But I would have to go with maybe Dune or The Mandalorian, because those scores were just fucking fantastic. Best Song Written for Visual Media, the nominees are Agatha All Along from WandaVision Episode 7. You know what? I don't even need to know the other nominees. Agatha All Along. This must have been why my buddy told me about the music for visual media category. Holy shit. This must have been why. Honestly, I'm just going to assume that if the Grammys go to shit, it was Agatha All Along. And I think that'll do it for me. I'm not familiar with a lot of these other categories. I don't think y'all really care about Best Children's Album or Best Engineered Album Non-Classical or whatever the fuck, so we're gonna call it here. All in all, a very safe and predictable selection of tunes across the board. A few surprises. It's cool to see Deftones pick up some nominations. It's really cool to see Agatha All Along nominated for a fucking Grammy. Banger of the fucking year. That should be nominated for Record of the Year, Song of the Year, Album of the Year. It should win every fucking award. It's objectively the best fucking song. It's very shocking as well to see Kanye nominated for as many albums as he is, obviously. It's also shocking to see, as a result, the likes of DaBaby and Marilyn Manson are nominated for Grammy Awards in major categories as contributors to Donda. Something that I'm sure will spark controversy if it hasn't already. I don't know, I haven't looked online much. But yeah, for the most part, Pretty much what I expected. Lots of meme potential, though. That alone gives me hope. We're going to be able to create some wild fucking memes out of some of these results, and I look forward to seeing what y'all might have already whipped up if you haven't already whipped up anything. That's it. Let me know who you think's gonna win. Let me know if you even fucking care. I mean, I have to assume if you're still here at this point in the video, you care at least a little bit. Feel free to prove me wrong, though. I don't fucking know. Whatever works for you. Press this button right here to subscribe and get updates on the Metal Meltdown fucking immediately in case you aren't already. And as always, you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.